Okay, so my original concept for this video way back in March was that I might be spending an extra week or two back home because of the pandemic, and that, it would only last for like a few weeks. So I'll have this cute little video of my lockdown empty, of all of the empties I accumulated during lockdown. Well, 10 months later, here's all of my lockdown empties of 2020. The actual level of lockdown where I live in the Bay Area has kind of ebbed and flowed throughout 2020, but I've been pretty much in a strict lockdown, with the only exception being when I had to fly back to New York to clean out my dorm in May. So I've pretty much been home, I haven't been going out, so this video will contain all of my empties from March to December of 2020, and will also contain some items I am decluttering. And by decluttering, I do just mean throwing out. I'm currently filming my 2021 collection series that goes through all of my makeup, but I'll explain my declutter policy a lot more in detail in those videos. But basically, when I say declutter, I mean I'm just gonna throw it out because it's gone bad. So let's get into this guy. This is like an old Christmas gift bag that I'm storing all of my empties in. I'm actually going to start by taking everything out because I do know there are one or two duplicates. So this is the Bioderma Micellar water. I'm actually surprised I only went through 2 bottles in 2020. I know in my dorm I had the NYX Micellar water that I was using, but I did have to end up throwing that out because moving out of my dorm was utter chaos. My swipe to get into the building I used to live in only worked during certain hours, and then we also only had so much suitcase space to be able to bring everything from my dorm back to San Francisco. So unfortunately, luckily we were able to donate some stuff, but some stuff we just had to throw away, and a lot of my skincare was just stuff we had to throw away. Because it was my last year, I had all these grand ideas about going around and asking the underclassmen hey, I'm graduating this year and I have all these things that I don't really need anymore. Do you want some stuff? Just pass stuff down to a lot of the underclassmen, because I know that's what a lot of seniors do when they graduate from college. But obviously because of the pandemic, and I was one of the last people to move out of my building because my parents didn't want to immediately fly back to New York when cases were surging there. So by the time I finally got back to move everything out, pretty much everybody was already gone. It was actually really sad because there's a lot of people at my college that I never really got to properly say goodbye to. I know there were a bunch of friends who were oh yeah, we should get dinner or something before we all graduate, or at least meet up again, and that never ended up happening. It's kind of sad, honestly. But that was a massive tangent. Back to my empties video. So the reason I've been using this so much, I normally like to test different skincare products, and I don't usually use the same products so consistently, but you'll notice with a lot of my skincare choices, it's a lot of based off of what my parents buy, because now I'm living at home, not really making those decisions for myself anymore. So my mom likes to buy the Bioderma micellar water in bulk at Costco, I believe. So yeah, so she gets a deal on these, and like I said, I'm on my 3rd bottle. We actually have another duplicate set. This is the Batiste dry shampoo. When I was in my dorm, I was pretty consistently using Batiste, but I was trying them in all the different scents. There's a ton of different scents. I've tried the tropical one and then the cherry one, and I know there's others, but my mom found a deal for them on Amazon with just the regular ones, so those are the ones I've been using. If you've watched any of my NaNoWriMo daily vlogs, you will be subjected to my very greasy teenager hair in the morning before I shower, because I film in the morning before I shower. Especially now that I'm at home, my mom is a really big fan of natural, kind of botanical-based shampoos, and while I love them, they're not very effective on my hair, unfortunately. If you know of any of natural botanical based shampoos that are effective on greasy hair, do let me know so I can tell my mom. So because my hair gets really greasy really fast when I use those shampoos, these dry shampoos have been super duper helpful, especially during the NaNoWriMo seasons. So this has been a long love for a long time. This is the Nature Republic aloe vera gel. This is a super light moisturizer. Like I said, I'm oily, so I need that kind of lighter moisturizer, but I still do use moisturizer because even though I'm oily skinned, you still want to moisturize regularly. It's also aloe vera gel, so it's like multi-purpose. It can be used to like soothe the sunburns or if you get cuts. I mean, I don't really get I don't really get sunburned because I'm already kind of naturally tan, and then I wear sunscreen literally every day. If you know me at all, I wear sunscreen every day, even if I'm just inside all day. And there are multiple sunscreen empties in this video, so I'll get to those. But next item is the Humphreys Witch Hazel Toner. I received this in a Vox box from Influencer, which is kind of like PR, but anybody can sign up to Influencer to get sort of free boxes or PR from them. If you would like to check out Influencer, I will leave a link in the description, but I did not like this. This stank. This is the Refresh with Cucumber version, and I think the smell was supposed to be the cucumber, but it smelled like alcoholic paint. I used to build sets a lot in college, and because we're an underfunded theater department, a lot of times we would find expired paint in the shop, and it smelled like this. But in terms of the effectiveness of the toner, you know, it was okay. I guess. Ooh, another complaint is that the cap in the bottle is just open. Oh god, it still smells. So yeah, it's just open, so like the product just like pours out freely. Like there's no kind of control. The next actual empty I have to show is the Thayers toner, and if I show you the difference, this has like a tiny little nozzle right here that controls the flow of the product. So it only comes out a little bit at a time, and you can like put it on a cotton pad pretty easily. Whereas with this, it just all comes out at once. And that's also partially the reason why it was so easy to use this up really fast, is because you couldn't control the flow of the product. Okay, so I just showed you, but the next product is the Thayers Witch Hazel Toner. Between the stuff Influencer sent me and just the stuff my mom buys, I've been using a lot of Witch Hazel toner when I really never use Witch Hazel toner. Normally I'll aim to use a toner with like galactomyces or AHA or BHA, but not all the time because using that too regularly it gets kind of intense on my skin. But because my mom gets such a good deal for these at Target, it's been what I've been using ever since I've moved home. Okay, so we have our first makeup declutter item. Now, most of these have been pretty well loved, and this is definitely one of them. This is a Colourpop Ultra Glossy. This is from the collection they did with Make-A-Wish and Delilah. Delilah was a Make-A-Wish kid, and her wish was to create a Colourpop collection. And so she did, and it's a really good collection. I still have everything else from that collection, but unfortunately, I think you can see on camera the gloss has started to change color. It's like starting to get kind of brown right here. Luckily, I've used most of this gloss anyway. There really isn't that much product left, so I don't feel too bad about having to chuck this, but yeah, it is starting to change color. I think that's also from my first ever Colourpop order. Okay, next. Good old vitamin C serum from dear Klairs. This is definitely the best vitamin C serum I've ever tried. It goes on a little greasy, but luckily it sort of like dries down. It doesn't stay greasy on your skin, which is an issue I've had a lot with vitamin C serums, especially being super oily. The big complaint I do have about this product is the packaging though. The fact that it comes in like a clear bottle, and vitamin C serums are sensitive to changing qualities based on light exposure. If you can see some of the residue on the lip of the product, it kind of changes from a clear serum to kind of this like brownish orangey color, and that's how you know that the product has been exposed to too much light and it's kind of gone off. So I do have to store this serum separately from all of my other skincare, which is kind of like on my bathroom countertop. And that's kind of the major complaint I have with that product. Now, next thing is a sample. This is the Drunk Elephant Protini Peptide Cream. Oh no, it's the Protini Polypeptide Cream. This was the birthday gift from 2 years ago from Sephora. I know because, well, obviously I'm filming this in 2021, and then actually for 2020, I didn't end up getting my birthday gift because I was cutting down on my spending because lockdown, and I didn't buy anything on my birthday month. So no birthday gift from last year. But yeah, I basically finished this by bringing it with me on my study abroad trip in January, although I must have still had some left because it's included in here in my lockdown empties. Now I remember, yes, there was like a tiny little bit left after I got back from my study abroad trip, and then when lockdown started, I actually tried to finish up a few like mini products I had to hold off from purchasing new stuff, basically. In terms of the actual quality of the product, it was okay. I honestly don't know how much I can speak to the quality of the product, because like I said, I used it on my January study abroad, so that was like what, like a month and a half at most, and then I didn't even use the whole thing all the way up, and I used the last little bit of it like probably several months later. But I do know the product in the full size is super expensive, so it's probably wouldn't be something I would repurchase again. Okay, another declutter. I didn't use this that much on camera. This is the Pacifica Rainbow Crystals Liquid Mineral Strobe Liquid Highlighter. I've always had a mixed relationship with liquid highlighters because of my oily skin. This was okay. It was one of those like iridescent highlighters that were popular, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago. I wore this a lot in person, like to class, but I honestly couldn't tell you if I've ever worn it on camera. I'll see if I can try to find a picture of me from a video or something. But I am decluttering this because it is starting to smell. I don't even want to open it to see what it smells like. I remember it smells bad. Okay, for sunscreen, the Dr. Jart Every Sun Day Sun Fluid. This is another item sent to me by Influencer, and I was super excited to get this because sometimes Influencer includes me in campaigns that don't really apply to me. Like one time I was in like a virtual campaign for like pet food when I don't own any pets. Or like the Thayers toner when I don't really go out and buy a witch hazel toner for myself all that often. But this is like right up my alley. It's like from a Korean brand and a sunscreen, so but it's perfect. If you've ever used Asian sunscreens, they're kind of on the more liquidy side, and this is definitely one of those. It kind of smelled like, if you live in the Bay Area, we have our eucalyptus trees, which came from Australia originally. It smells like eucalyptus trees. And the sun protection on this was pretty good. If you watch my NaNoWriMo videos, you know I pretty regularly go on walks, and I wear this whenever I would go on a walk, and it was, yeah, good. Okay, I think you will immediately see why I am decluttering this next makeup item. So the color of this Dear Darling tint was originally red. It was like this color, and now it is this color. And it's really sad because I only had this product for like 9 months before it started going off. You know, generally lipsticks are supposed to last like a year, if not more, so it was super weird that this started going off so soon. I honestly don't even know how many times I was able to wear it before it started looking like this. So yeah, I mean, super disappointing, but it is what it is. I do know like liquid products tend to go off faster than like even like cream lipsticks. And actually pretty much all of my decluttered makeup products are like liquid products. Okay, another sunscreen. This is the Shiseido Ultimate Sun Protection Lotion Broad Spectrum 50 SPF+. I tried to say the whole name in one breath and I like almost did it, but I couldn't quite. So I'll be real, this wasn't that great. Most Asian sunscreens I've tried are on the more liquidy side, but they like dry down pretty well, whereas this like dries down greasy. And I do know it's super common for sunscreens to kind of have a greasy film they leave behind, but on my oily skin, I cannot handle that. It's like grease upon grease. So I do know this sunscreen is super popular, but I didn't like it. A sunscreen I did like is the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. So I'm usually a buyer of Asian sunscreens, I just have been for most of my life, but in the beginning of the pandemic, shipping from overseas was super inconsistent, honestly kind of like how it is now, super inconsistent. So I thought I'd give some sunscreens from Sephora a chance, and the Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen was the first one. I was kind of skeptical about the like unseen concept of this sunscreen, but when I actually tried it, it was really good. It goes on a little greasy and tacky at first, almost kind of like a primer, but the dry down is pretty good. Like after 10 minutes, couldn't feel it at all. Honestly, if there continues to be like shipping delays from overseas in particular, this might be something I'd repurchase. Okay, this one's a big guy. This is the Kiehl's Candula Serum Infused Water Cream. I do not think I have ever gone through like a tin of serum this big. Like I think I started using this like in 2019 and I finished it sometime in 2020. So it has lasted a really long time. This was also sent by Influencer. moisturizer. And next to the Dr. Jart sunscreen, and then also they sent me the Benefit Bad Gal Bang. This is one of my favorite things that Influencer has ever sent me. The cream is quite heavy, so as an oily skin person, I was kind of intimidated by it at first. But honestly, once you rub it in, there really isn't even a dry down period. My skin absorbed it really well right away. I'm not a skincare expert, so I honestly couldn't tell you what the benefits are of the Calendula petals and Calendula flower extract that are in this product. But if I find any scientific studies that link Calendula to benefits to the skin, I will link it down below. Okay, last makeup declutter. This is the MAC Lip Gloss in Love Child. I got this in one of my first ever Ipsy bags. I wasn't on YouTube at the time, so I never filmed it. But I have worn this lip gloss in a lot of different videos, and it is a sad lip gloss to say goodbye to because I've loved it, but it's starting to smell. And they actually do still sell this shade in a full size. This is the mini size, but the full size is still available, so maybe one day I'll repurchase it. Okay, next up is the Galactomyces alcohol-free toner from CosRx. CosRx is probably one of my most favorite skincare brands of all time, and I'm so happy they're sold at Ulta now, so if I want to buy something from them, I don't have to worry about shipping from overseas. And the applicator is a spray, which I love, so I don't even have to worry about using cotton pads. I can just spray it directly on my face, which you're not supposed to get this in your eyes, so do that at your own risk, but I also don't like using up a cotton pad every time I put on my toner, so I like just spraying it on my face. One of my goals when I move out on my own is to try out those like reusable cotton pads. You know, living at home, my mom just buys the one-use ones from Target, so that's something that's just gonna have to wait until I move out. Okay, another skincare item, Olay Mist Ultimate Hydration Essence. This was actually one of the very first things Influencer ever sent me. And what took me so long to use this up is because I think I accidentally left this at home instead of bringing it to the dorm. It's got vitamin C and bergamot, and it's in kind of like, it's not clear, but it's like a translucent packaging, but it never ended up changing color on me, so I'm not exactly sure what the concentration of vitamin C was in this product. But again, spray bottle applicator, so I didn't have to use up cotton pads. And so the last skincare item is an itty-bitty little sample. This is the Nature Republic Real Squeeze Aloe Vera Toner. Honestly, there isn't really much to say here. I only got 1 or 2 uses out of this. It's so tiny. I remember it smelling very nice, but when I looked up the ingredients, it didn't look the greatest, so I'm glad this only came in a tiny little thing, because I think I might have been a little scared for my skin if I tried using up a full size. Okay, one last thing that was not in my Empties box because I actually had it displayed up on my desk. It's a gift from Influencer, and it's probably the only Tom Ford item I will ever own in my life, which is why I had it displayed. This is the Tom Ford Emotion Proof Mascara, and the packaging is absolutely beautiful. It's almost like a magic wand. It's what makes me think of. As beautiful as the packaging is, and as much as I will keep this as a display piece for the rest of my life, the product itself was just okay. I wore this in my videos when I was starting my YouTube channel, and I honestly used this mascara up for far longer than I should have because I wanted to use as much as possible, because like I said, first time I've ever owned a Tom Ford product, probably the last time I will ever own a Tom Ford product. But even as someone who mostly uses drugstore mascaras and only has recently got into trying high-end mascaras, it was just okay. Like, honestly, like, even like L'Oreal Lash Paradise, I would pick over this. Or even like Maybelline Great Lash. I am that girl who still uses Maybelline Great Lash. I would probably pick that over this. I don't know if maybe it's because I have a higher standard for products that are so expensive, or just the issues I had with this mascara stuck out to me more. Like, after about 6 to 7 hours of wear, if I used this on both my top lashes and my bottom lashes, my lashes would like start to stick together. I don't know if that's because I have naturally long lashes or it was an issue with the product itself, but it happened literally every time I used it on both my top lashes and my bottom lashes, so I literally could not use this on both of my sides of my lashes. This also was fairly flaky around the like 7 to 8 hour wear mark. So yeah, I will appreciate the packaging forever and ever, but in terms of the actual quality of the mascara, there are better things out there. So yeah, that was my 2020 lockdown empties. Who knew that my lockdown empties was gonna turn into like a 10-month full bag monstrosity? Let me know what products you used up in 2020. Would you like me to do more frequent empty videos, or do you do like this like big all-in-one video of just a ton of declutters from the majority of the year? Let me know, and until then, I will see you next time.